everyone, and welcome back to another podcast video on how white feminism language helps women of color by me. In case you guys didn't see the first one, I will be introducing the same topic but in a different perspective. So throughout my first podcast, I was showing examples, doing research on how white feminism language has betrayed women of color. And I came to a conclusion, and throughout my video I always made awareness that I believe that not every white feminist is the same. But throughout the whole podcast I was just showing different examples, and I came to the conclusion that here in the RGV not a lot of young women are aware of this division. And when I finished my first podcast, my results were yes, not a lot of women knew about this same topic. And here, since we're seeing it in a different perspective, the conclusion is the same. I got only to interview one person, and we had a little bit technical difficulty in showing the examples, but I got to put here in some examples that I showed her for my observation project. So let's get going. So back to this video. This video was a great example in my first podcast because it showed the language of white feminism betraying women of color. And when I was creating the process of observation, I gathered a woman of color, young woman of color, and I showed her this video. If you haven't seen it, you can go back to my first one. I will play a little bit in this episode, a little bit of this video. And I was just observing how she felt, how she looked, how was her face expressions, and then I continued to ask, and I proceeded to continue to asking her questions. And I will show you guys the answers to her questions right now. In the meantime, I will be playing the video. Let's see if I can speed it up. Okay, right here.
One of the places where this went off the rails, he never said equal blame.
He said there were very good people among the neo-Nazi protesters. He did, don't roll your eyes, he did say those words.
He didn't say there were very good people among neo-Nazi protesters.
He said there were very good people on the other side.
There are people that were opposed.
It was clear what he was talking about.
Look, can I tell you this? I am so uncomfortable having this conversation. And that's what this woman said before this, because I know what's in my heart. And I know that I don't think...
So, this is the observation project that I made. And, well, I asked her a lot of questions. And I showed her first this video, like I said. And I proceeded to asking, after seeing this video of white feminism language betraying women of color, you as a woman of color, how do you feel about feminism? In which she responded, estoy sorprendida porque entre mujeres nos podemos apoyar. Desde el principio de los tiempos podemos ver que el hombre tiene más poder y hay que unirnos para pelear juntas. Translating it to English, she's basically saying that she was shocked about this division, and she thought that feminism was it's about supporting each other, and that we must continue staying united and fighting together. My observations were she looked mad, she looked shocked, disappointed, and very judgmental. Because after seeing the video, she was commenting like how she expected it of white women to, especially when regarding Donald Trump comments, since he got a lot of support from white women, that she expected it, she saw it coming, and she was just mainly disappointed because as a woman, she was betraying her fellow, the other reporter that was there, which was an African American woman. And this was my observation. I then proceeded to showing her a different perspective. So, due to technical difficulties, I wasn't able to show the video, but basically, there's a really popular video of a white female reported mad in desperation, fighting and defending freedom of religion. She was in that video, she was basically saying that She's willing to fight for every woman's and every man's religion, even though she may not believe in the same religion as them, but she does not want in return for other people's religion to control and dictate her life. So after showing her this video, I asked her, how do you feel about feminism and white feminists? And she responded, definitivamente me hace sentir empoderada y me doy cuenta que a comparación del video anterior no todas son iguales y sí tenemos mucho apoyo del feminismo blanco. Translating that to English, she said, definitely I feel empowered. I'm coming to realization that in comparison to the other video, I acknowledge that not everyone is the same, and we do have a lot of white feminism support. In this observation, I saw her very relaxed, very thoughtful, and impressed. Additionally, I showed her another example. I found this woman in TikTok actually. She was very, she got to be very famous by this protest specifically when she was pregnant. Right now she has her kid already. She communicates the 400, I believe if I'm not mistaken, laws that there is against women's bodies and how there is none towards men's bodies. And right here they're protesting. She made a lot of protests. She's amongst other women as well. And I asked her, do you think white feminism language betrayal applies for everyone? And to which she responded, el impacto del feminismo blanco es significante ya que su palabra tiende a ser tomada más en cuenta que la palabra de una mujer de color. Al igual ya que su palabra tiene mucho más poder e importancia, puede llegar a afectar cómo las feministas son vistas. A pesar de esto, no creo que la traición no aplica para todas. In translation, she's saying that she thinks that white feminism has a big, significant impact and their word and their voice is taken as more important than a woman of color's word. She's saying that white feminist words, in quote, language also has more power and importance and can affect to how feminists are being viewed. But despite all of this, she does not think that white feminism language betrayal applies for everyone. And there was a more conversation on this topic after seeing the past video of the white female reporter supporting freedom of religion, and this woman who is an advocate for every woman and is a pro-choice. Basically here she reflected and she was telling me about how at first when I showed her the first video, like her thoughts were already like being very biased, and after seeing these examples, these are showing her hope and are showing her that not everyone is the same, and she should not go into that type of mindset of being very biased. And when I did my first research, I was very biased as well. And the reason why I did a lot of digging into this is because if you go to Google and you type how white feminists are supporting women of color, there's almost no example. You have to really go into it. There's always showing TED Talks on how white feminists have affected in the bad way women of color. And luckily I had a great platform, which is TikTok, and right there, like, it's full of everything. There's no bias in there, except maybe some other content creators, but I like to say videos that show importance, and this is what I used. And I will be proceeding with the presentation. So I also got to interview her to get a little more in depth on how she was thinking. So after all of this, my conclusion and my main goal is to create awareness on how women in the RGV are not aware of this division. And I proceeded on asking her, did you know about this division in feminism? She answered, no sabía de esto, meaning that she was not aware. And then I asked her, do you think women in the RGV know about this topic? She said no. How do you feel towards white feminism? She answered, creo que por ellas está esta división, pero saber que hay muchas que nos ayudan a pelear por nuestra igualdad me da felicidad y esperanza. She's basically saying that due to white feminism, there is this division in feminism and amongst women of color, but seeing other white feminism supporting other girls and other women of color brings her happiness and hope. So with all that being said, definitely it's very, very important to look at a different perspective, to not be biased towards a certain topic, situation, person, etc., whoever it might be in your life. In this case, my research was how white feminism language helps women of color, and we know that this is a very it shouldn't be political, but it is political, unfortunately, and due to racism, homophobia, all of the negative things you can never think of, and this goes back to colonial times. There is this great division in feminism, and it's very, very sad to admit, but we gotta face the truth, the harsh truth, but always keep in mind that not everyone will be the same. Not every white feminist is the same. We do have a lot of support. They do help us a lot. They do back us up a lot in many, many ways. Do not believe what you see in the media. Sometimes social media, news, the internet can be very, very toxic, especially in hard times like this and during a pandemic. Always stay positive, and my call to action right now is create awareness about this topic. It's important to know, it's important that this exists, but it's most importantly to know that not everyone is the same, specifically white feminism. Create awareness, guys. Always tell don't be like that type of person, like, oh, okay, I'll be talking political here. No, do not get political with anyone. Enjoy life. But if everything, dile a tu hermana, tu amiga, platícales. What I'm doing, my mom is a very, I'm Latina, she's Mexican, but she's white. And I first wanted to interview her, but she never got to experience this division because of her skin color. She was always treated with more respect. Even though, yes, she faced she had a hard life when she was younger, but she didn't know about this either. And she's 43, so imagine us who we are super, super young, super naive. Like, just imagine that. And it's important to spread awareness. And to conclude, the RGB women here are not aware of this situation, and I believe with this podcast and this research that I made and how I talk to friends and family, it will definitely create more awareness. So thank you so much, guys, for sticking around and hearing my podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.